Hey, I'm Suzy, and welcome to 30 Minutes of Dance. Today's class is a cross-training class for dancers. We will focus on the core and more. So clear your space. If you have a yoga mat, we'll be using that, or you can always do this class on a rug, someplace where you can lie back comfortably. We'll start standing and we'll move down into the ground. I'll also be using a yoga block and a strap. If you have a hand towel, a necktie, a scarf, that could work as your strap. And you could also use a pillow for the block today. I will be dancing with you barefoot, but any shoes, socks even would be fine today. Comfortable athletic shoes, dance shoes, yoga socks, whatever makes you feel good. And let's begin. Have water too, take breaks as you need. And we'll start just with an easy weight shift. So bring your hands to your core, right? And not so much thinking of the core as just your navel, right? Or your abs, but that it's from the hips really to the chest, thinking about how the rib cage and the pelvis integrate. And imagine that from your left rib cage or left hip to your right rib cage and the opposite, there's like an X across the body. Yeah, so the hips and the ribs come together on both sides. So you might even kind of do that for yourself if you can physically sense, yeah, my front ribs integrate. There's this sort of cinching of the waist when I move my weight from one leg to the other. This diagonal corset-like contraction happens to help support and bolster and brace myself for shifting to maybe one foot or the other. Notice how the sides of the body have to come in and sort of fill into the space. And it's just an interesting way to begin is to sense how the pelvis is over the standing leg, how the hips, the ribs, the shoulders, and your head sort of all navigate alignment when you shift from one foot to the next. This isn't easy. So if it is, yay! Keep your eyes open. It makes it harder if you close them. But let's shift to the left side. Take a moment. Hands to your hips. Again, feel like you could cinch your waist here. Sense that diagonal line. Feel the back of the body lifting up. And then flex the foot and point the toe. Plie through the middle so you feel you've got your bearings nice and even. And then cinch the waist. Stay with the toe in the sand if you need. And then see if you might zip up. Imagine you're zipping up the front of the pelvis. Flex the foot and then shift the weight back down to the center. Again, move the whole of the body over. Stand tall. Then zip it up, kind of cinch and pulley, flex the foot, wake up the front leg, or the front of the leg, yeah, and then the side body's lifted. And then come back through the center, plie, feel even. Move the whole of the body over. Hands, zip, flex, engage, get more awake, more vibrant, more present, and then back through the center. Now could you shift again? So you move the whole body and then like a big yawn, flex and reach fingertips toward me, or hands toward me rather, fingertips can kind of give me a little spirit fingers, yeah, at the top, flex. And so any of that wobbling that you might feel in your legs, let it lift up and kind of reach it out through the fingertips, almost like you were meant to wobble. Yes, so you're not holding on tight, but instead you're doing what the body is built to do. You're corseting, you're ratcheting up your energy here. There's still gonna be some wobbles, but you feel strong and centered. Reach, reach, reach. One more. Sit back, reach up, flex it, and pause. Turn the toes out. And then shift the weight, and we'll take like a little circle up and around. Inner thighs tracking toward outer knees. Mindful your knees aren't going way past the toes, right? So you're just getting a feel for this movement at your center, right? This circle at the core, how it moves from one leg, center, other leg, rising. Yeah, and then let's take that in the other direction. Have that moment in the middle, up and over. Feel the push out of one leg become a reach and a pull, and up and over. Yeah, and my arms are just kind of going with the essence of what's happening. Yours might be doing something different, that's all good. Let's come back to the center. Now you're slightly turned out, right? Reach the arms out. If you feel wobbly, maybe you're too turned out, you can spin the heels back some on the diagonal, reach up. And then right elbow is gonna cinch down and kind of press into the thighs or the hip as much as you can, and then reach back up. Find that X shape happening across the ribs. So left elbow, ribs pull in and up. Now, you can put a micro bend in your knees if that helps steady you some. And then back to the center. All right, so working the torso. Some standing core work here. Excellent. Now, I want you just to reach across, sort of give me like a palm. Let's talk the hand here a moment. And then flashing back, right? I think that's the 90s. Is that the 90s? When do we talk the hand? Well, today. And then press across. So now you're feeling this diagonal kind of energy kicking in. Reach across and let the opposite arm reach any amount behind you. Again, pressing out through the heels of the hands. So there's this active twist happening, but the lower body staying very neutral. Yeah, pushing out. So active open twist. One more. And then come to parallel, so you could just turn the feet in. Heel toe it in so it's slightly wider than your hips. And then bend the knees. Active twist here. So palms are gonna reach out toward me, palms together for a moment, if that feels okay, yeah? And then you can either keep the elbow bent and row the left shoulder back, elbow pulls back, center, opposite side. So knees are bent and feeling very like grounded, very ready, connected. You can go anywhere from this position. Now, if this feels good, stay with it. Feel the muscles that create the twist. So it's not the arm so much doing it, it's the core contracting and then the ribs pulling back. If it feels good to you, you could do the same thing with the arm open and open. Close, center, open. Good. Now as you're staying with this, maybe you sit deeper in the pocket there with the hips right over your knees, over your heels. Straight line of energy from the tail to the crown. Back to the middle. Open both arms. Take a little side tip. Pull up to come back to center. And then tilt. Zip it up. Brings you back to center. Reach any amount. If the arms start to feel really long and heavy and the shoulders are starting to feel fatigued, you could do cactus arms here or goal post, yeah, whichever image works better. You could even reach and give it some more functionality, like, oh, I'm reaching into a really high shelf. I'm pulling all good things down. Now, shift the legs. So as you reach to the left, you're gonna straighten the right leg and then alternate. Now, if you like, you could turn the legs out slightly. One foot, other foot. And so it takes it a little more into the inner thigh and might feel good on the low back as well. Now, for some balance, come back to the center. Plie, and then rise up. We're gonna turn, gather the arms. So same thing we just did, yeah, facing the front, but now we're gonna turn to the left, come into a runner's lunge with the back knee lifted and the back legs bent. So it's not dramatic, yeah. And then from here, open, and it could be, again, the left elbow's gonna pull or the left arm, and then close. And then open, and close. Notice that, yes, the arm's moving, but could you move your navel into the spine first and stay connected there? Like the centered strength is what's holding you up. And from this centered strength, you actually can move the rib cage. You can open up the chest and the lungs. One more breath. Come back to the center. Come through parallel, reaching forward. Let the arms kind of breathe out and like, ooh, squirm it off for a moment. Yeah. Circle the hips and the shoulders. Have a dance break. Yeah. As you want to remember that this is fun, right? Because I know this can feel very like contained. So find the joy. Keep the joy. Contain the joy, right? Keep it all for yourself right now as you transition to the opposite side for a lunge. So you don't want to be on a tightrope. Yeah, you want to feel like you have hips width. Bend the back leg so it's a nice parallel position. Reach out but row the shoulders back. Feel the X across the front body. Lift the navel and then open, either pull back like you're drawing a bow here, or open the arm and then gather at your center and palms come to touch. Inhale. So for balance, it might be helpful to keep your gaze right over the front thumb. Yeah, for some of us, it might be fun to, turn with it. Whatever keeps you breathing. Helps you feel steady. Again, move your navel in first and feel that from your centered strength, you can actually find some freedom and expansion through the chest. One more. Come back to the center. Open it up. Take a deep plie. And now take your, dance break here. Might feel good in the dance break to bring the hands to the thighs. Take the shoulder forward and drape across the diagonal line. So ribs and hips counterbalancing here. You come up and down as it feels good to you. Not a whole lot of weight in the hands, right? So it's not stressful on the wrists. It's just easy release for the shoulders and low back. Good. Now come back to the middle. Deep plie. Rebounds you up. Bring the hands to the heart. Heel toe your feet back in some. So one more standing, like hopefully you're feeling your legs, right? This is a big part of, feeling strong in our centers is feeling connected to the legs and feeling strong in the glutes as well. So as you turn out in a functional second position plie, right? Or sort of temple pose here. Sit into it. Now, one hand on your belly, one hand could be on your chest, right fingertips to shoulder, or if it feels okay to you, goalpost or hand behind the head. Yeah, so here, 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 or here. Whatever causes you less drama. Yeah. And then we're gonna circle the torso above the pelvis some. So this is like churning at your core. So the elbow gets slightly heavier, head still attached, and then you're just gonna pull the navel in, all right? Just pull the navel in and start to stir your chest to the left, and then bring yourself right back on top. Again, tip, navel in. Doesn't have to be like some big tuck, it's just pulling the navel in. It's very subtle work. Yeah, it goes a long way, just the essence of this movement. Right, so just trying to move like the chest and the shoulder girdle above the ribs at first. Knees are bent, so you're feeling that, contraction there. Now switch the direction. Doesn't have to be any bigger. If it feels like it wants to be slightly bigger for you, okay, but don't knock yourself over. Yeah, just keep breathing. It's like a massage from the inside out. And you're building that core awareness, right? You're learning how to adapt and support yourself. Good, come back to the center. Release. Notice the difference in your shoulders, your arm length perhaps. Do an easy circle of the shoulders and then a plie. And then circle the shoulders plie. Let's do that twice more. Deep breath. One more. Good. Now I want you to notice the difference in the sides of the body, from the ribs to the hips, and how you feel the legs plugged into the body, or how the ribs are integrated, connected to the pelvis here. Even how the shoulders, maybe, and the arms feel like they drape and are more connected. I hope you're feeling something, and I hope it's good. Now, let's do the other side, even you out, to just spread the good feeling all around. I know you have to earn it a little bit, so bend the knees slightly. Take the opposite hand to the belly to remind you to pull the low belly in towards your low back. Now, left hand either to the heart, breathing, or fingertips to shoulders, goalposts, or you move the hand, just fingertips behind the head. Keep your head on, yeah, and just press your head into your hand some. Don't pull on it at all, just easy does it here. Sense that you can drop the weight down and inhale, elbow shifts, side bend. Yes, you feel that contraction, the diagonals, the counterbalance. Now, pull the navel in and up. The belly button moves in and up towards the back of your chest, back to the heart there. And then you keep circling, little lean in the other direction, not so much it knocks you over. And then right away, zip it up right on top. Again, tip, coil in without over tucking. Let your tail still drop straight down. And then sway, find center. Right, it's all about staying true to your center. Good, keep stirring. Yeah, if it's interesting to go in another direction, or sort of now that the music's coming in, you might feel a little pulse in this, but keep it easy. Easy breezy. And then slowly, let it bring you back. A little lower, last one. Hello legs. Inhale, stand tall. Release the arm. Release both arms, little plie, and then a shoulder roll. Again, plie, and shoulders. Let's take one more. Excellent. Notice the difference. Now maybe this leg feels like, maybe you feel taller, or that your legs are even starting a bit higher up in the body, I hope. And then bring the toes, and then the heels, and then the toes, and then the heels, and then a little dance break. Yes. Now we're gonna get out. This is not part of it, but feel free. And if you need a robot or something in between, but that's the world's worst robot. But I'm going over to get my strap. So find your towel or your strap. And standing core, I'm gonna sort of uncoil mine so that it's pretty open, but holding on to the buckly bit so that it doesn't, bonk around or hit me. So as you come into this, same stance, yes, it could be parallel if that feels better to you, slightly turned out like 15 degrees. Just mindful that your knees are tracking over your second and third toes as we sit into this like demi-plie, like a baby squat. Now holding onto this strap, again, up to you, your range of motion, you know best, always. But let's reach the arms out in front and then keep the palms open toward me. So maybe you're up on the diagonal at like 45, plie. So now the arms are longer, you're a little taller. You're just gonna sway to the right. Imagine that you're pulling the navel in, super active, pulling in and up through the belly button towards the back of the heart. If the arms can go up higher, okay. And then maybe you can even drop the tail down, bend the knees slightly. Now this can be a side bend where you push out of the right arm and pull into the left. And then back to center, push left, pull right. So you feel this in the arms. Yeah, they're working. You're trying to pull the strap apart. But can you tap into the core? Can you plug the arms into the core So I actually think about making the arms shorter. So the shoulders are pulling in and down. You're moving the shoulder blades and the rib cage side to side. And again, the legs are involved. So go a little deeper perhaps. Back to center. And then see if you can just do a really tiny circle of the shoulder blades. And notice how that feels in the rib cage, in the core. Switch the direction. Yeah, stirring. And again, feeling the arms. I know, it's okay to feel. If it's sharp, if it's burning a lot, if you can't breathe, stop. Come out of it, come back in, plie. And then release the arms down. Maybe you can even tighten your grip up some. As you inhale, we're gonna push to the right, press out in front without like rounding and collapsing. Just press out in front, hinge at the hips, shift to the left, and then pull it in and across. So we push, sway, circle, pull in, retract the shoulder blades. You're trying to pull the shoulder blades back and in. Good. Now, again, keep going but the other direction. Keep pulling the strap taut. Excellent. Back to the middle. Now for fun, reach up. And I just want you to shift right, left, right. And if up is here for you, perfect. Just let it sway some. Yeah. And then right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Again, let it sort of dance and release. Roll the shoulders, shake out the hands if you felt like you were gripping it all. And then let's set the strap off to the side. Turn towards the front of your mat. Hands come to hips. So taking that runner's lunge energy, and you can always use a chair, you can use any furniture to help step back here and support a lunge that lowers down to one knee. Hands come inside the foot, and then step your way to all fours. Shifting off from all fours toward seated for a moment, just maybe side on your outer hip. Make sure you have your block handy. Once we lie down, you're gonna wanna have it nearby. So have your block handy. And then let's sit on the outer hip. Take the same arm as the leg that's down and thread into fetal position. That feels good as you come onto your back. I hope this will feel good too. And coming onto your back, just stretch out into the X for a moment. We won't be flat on our back for long. It may not be so comfy on, to be flat on the back, but see if you can just stretch out into an X shape. Feeling that, again, that sense of connection between your ribs and your hips. This line of energy crossing at the navel. And this is what brings the upper body and the lower body together. Yeah, the arms and the legs together. So let's take the X shape, and if the arms aren't coming overhead, it's okay if they're out to the side, right? Imagine it's a smaller X. And then bring your right knee in and across as though you were gonna bring your right hip toward your left shoulder. And then the hand can come and just, like give a little pat, a little love pat to the knee, and then come right back down. Now, other side, left knee, think hip is lifting, and then little love pat as you come back down. So let's just do that side to side. Now, if going all the way straight feels like too much for your low back, or just like uncomfortable to be flat on your back, you can do the same action, with the knees bent and the feet planted. So I'll show that. Yeah, feet planted. Just bring the right knee, give it a pat, and then the left knee. Now, up to you. If that feels like someplace to stay, stay with it. Or you could try to bring the elbow towards the knee, and then the arm comes down. So elbow towards the knee, but the head's still on the floor. All right, we're keeping the head down, just gentle through the neck and the shoulders. So elbow to knee, and you can go bent knees to straight leg if you like. Right, up to you, but the leg has to work a little harder to get to the elbow. Oh my goodness, yes. Now, your choice, or stay with it, straight leg and straight arm, right hand toward left leg. Now, not all of our hamstrings are gonna be happy about this. I know, I feel it too. And so as you go right and then left, if it feels better, keep the knees bent, and don't worry about straightening the leg, but maybe unfold it a smidge, right? We work in a smidge here. Yeah, so it's an unfolding, right? You want to have someplace to work toward. Yeah, you don't have to do it all today. But give it a shot. Crossing over. Last few. Just again, feeling how the upper body and the lower body are connected. How your breath at your center, the lungs, the heart beating. That's the center of yourself. Your heart, your lungs. What's at your core? Good, last two. Well done. Now plant both feet. Lift your hips for a moment, and if it feels good, this is just a release for the low back. You could put a pillow under the hips or the block on the first level. Turn your toes in, let your knees drop down and in towards the center. So this is a way to release the low back, to get a slight downpour of energy and inversion, to help actually calm your nervous system down when we can feel that the heart doesn't have to work so hard to pump the blood back up from the legs. Right here, we're just in the downpour. Take a few deep breaths, maybe hands on your belly to feel that the breath is initiating in the core. Right, deep belly breathing helps calm. So breathe into that calm feeling. Sense the low back opening up and relaxing. And the legs are maybe even saying thank you for all that standing work. You can stay here, let the inner thighs relax. Or you might bring one knee in and pause for a moment. You can switch sides, try the other knee coming in. The low back can be tender, or the pelvis. This is really under your pelvis, yeah? So the hips may feel kind of tender here. So if it's too much, relax, come out of it. If it felt good to bring the knees in, maybe one leg and then the other can follow, and just feel that fold at 90-degree angle there on your back. And the hips completely relax, the legs are heavy, dropping down and in, plugging the hips in and down, the legs soaking into the pelvis. Take the deepest breath of the day right here. And when you feel ready, plant one foot at a time. Lift the hips as high as you can, big reach. Slide any support out from underneath you. Maybe the arms go overhead as you come down. Allow the legs to sway once the hips land. You just rewind this journey as you roll over to your side once again. Pause, breathe. Bring yourself up towards all fours. Pause, maybe even sit back any amount, hips towards heels. And then shift your weight forward, stepping 1 foot forward for the lunge. Maybe pick your lucky leg. Use the support around you, or that inner strength as you cinch and stand 2 feet, top of your mat. And then turn and open your energy back up. So notice how you feel. Stretch the arms out into the X shape. You can probably still feel the floor like behind you. You can feel the support at your pelvis. So breathe into the back of the body, right? We tend to get ahead of ourselves, right? So see if you can breathe into the back of your body, reach the arms out. Imagine that shift from the very beginning, yes, as you bend the standing leg, shifting to the right. Now, we just did this on our back. Imagine bringing the knee and the hand toward one another. Again, pull into the back body. And then shift, lift and shift the weight to the left. Again, pull in, pull up, feel the back of the body. Sense how this imprints. Think hand to knee, and then coming back down. All right, so we just did this. The body, the muscles remember, and they remember the support that you had. So bring this, translate this to standing. And you might, as you shift and lift and test your balance, pause for a moment here. How long might you stay? Pull the navel in, thread the energy up, try to bump your head on the sky, and then lift before you lower, shift before you plie, and then come aligned as you take the opposite side. Again, can you test your balance here? Stay a little longer. Imagine you're hugging the inner thighs together. Good, keep breathing. Lift, shift, transfer the weight through the plie, let the hip have a good time there, and then come up and across. Might you even lift up, maybe releve, down. If you have a wall, that could come in really handy on the releve. It's not required. Nothing's, oops, wrong one. Nothing's required. But if it's fun, you might play with a little elevator ride and then switch. Other side. Pulley up. Whoa. Whoa, I got excited. And then, woo, what if you rise? And if you fall over, you fall over. You can bounce back. That's what this is teaching us. We always return to our center, right? Lift and shift. Go for it. Try the other side. Yeah, if you fall, right, you land as if you meant to. Let's do one more. Up and over. Let it rise. Let it float. Let it dance. Yeah. Let it play. Other side. Lift, shift, transfer the weight. Ah. Try your elevator ride. Ah. And relax. Come back to the center. Let's bring 2 feet to one. Inhale, reach out. Now, sometimes it's really challenging to step with 2 feet together. So if it's really wobbly or it doesn't feel good on your low back, stay with the feet hips width. But a good test of balance, I'm going to transition just so you can see, is to step on 2 feet. Yeah, and then step your right foot directly in front of your left. Oh. And then feel how the core might want to wobble and shift, and go thumbs up for me. Take a moment to see if you can shift forward and maybe pick up the back leg. And then same line. Yeah, shift back. Good. Again, shift forward. Peel it off. Shift back. Zip it up. Excellent. Now, transition. Left leg's in front. 2 legs in the same line. Yeah, again, if it's too much, stay parallel. Hips width even if you need. But whoa, see if you can find that core connection. Push off. And lean back. Push off. Lean back. It's time. Well done. Stay balanced today. I'm Suzy. Thank you so much for